Righto, guys. Right, so welcome back to Exchange Sidings. I'm in. You already catch me actually in the already technically started. I got stuck in and completely forgot. The reason why I got stuck in was, and whilst the autosaving's going, that's perfect timing. The reason why I got stuck in is I actually played ahead between my turn and this turn. My turn is my previous turn. We're in trouble. We're living on borrowed time at the minute. What do I mean by living on borrowed time at the minute? Well, I'll show you the... I'll be honest, I'll hold my hand up. I've done a bit of work. Firstly, Needham North Junction here is getting to be pretty much inadequate. It's over congested. So what I've done ahead of time is Needham Refinery I've changed. So I made it 4 platforms rather than the previous station that Wolfgang had. I've also, for the Newcastle line, put it straight into a tunnel. So grade separate it, as you can see beneath here. Comes out here, weaves round, and rejoins its original trackage there. Same track speed, 87 miles an hour, 90-mile-an-hour trains, potentially. And then what I've done is, rather than, and as you can see where the original line came, because here, what I've done here is, so they've got the crossover, it comes out, round over the top of the tunnel, onto a small bridge, into this station, into this set of platforms. That means that only goods is coming up this section of the line. Separate the passengers out here, which is going to only get more congested when I try to implement Plan 1910. Because there's a reason why when I originally built this station, it was a through and not a termini, apart from the fact that it's on a massive gradient. That was intentional, and it's a case of I'm going to continue boring through the mountain, heading out to definitely not Helsham, but I'm definitely heading Matlock Bath, and then I'm going to be joining onto the onto the Stamford line about here-ish. The reason why I say 1910 is I'm going to actually be straightening this line out, going to be upgrading it, fixing it, and also extending it onwards. It's going to Teignmouth. At present, this is kind of broken. That's understandable, because if I come down to here, I'm changing the format of the this section of the throat coming out of Needham Market. As you can see now, we have a lot of junctions, a lot of crossovers, a lot of turnouts real quick. This line needs to be re-evaluated. You are not coming across here any further anymore. Like I said, a lot of things are being changed. You pick up the 100-mile-an-hour. Actually, yeah, you do that. Actually, hold 60 mile an hour. This means that this entire section of this line is currently disconnected for obvious reasons. As of right now, as you can see, and then it diverts off, going into Sandhurst, coming into Sandhurst Chemical, which is an interesting design. Slightly hamstrung because of its position. Because that's also got something to do with the size of the port that is also trying to serve next to it, which is understandable. That also has got a fair amount of port traffic. Coming down to here, this is the issue that we've got. It's double track, and I'm just going to pan along here, and you count how many trains that you count between here and Northwich. 1, 2, 3. This junction I'm going to fix. That's a tram. No, like I said, 3, 4, 5. No, 6, I mean 7, 8, back into double track, 9, 10, 11, 12, back to back, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 trains between the end of Northwich Junction and Sandhurst. I mean, and I was talking about Sandhurst Chemical there when I was counting from. So it's not brilliant. So the one thing I'm going to do is I need to reevaluate. We need to reevaluate seriously. And this is why I've sat down with started sitting down with Wolfgang about this, because this, if something goes wrong, and it's either Needham Junction or it's Northwich Junction, and it can be anywhere along this double track line, the trains get snarled up at one end of it or the other, and it's double track, so it just ends up with it all snarling up, and once it all snarls up, it's this. I mean, I've seen it because I've played ahead. This can death spiral the game. This section of route will death spiral us, and it's not a case of if it'll death spiral us, it's when it'll death spiral us, because we're only continuing to add more and more and more capacity down here, and we're also adding more trains that are doing more weird and funky stuff that, like this. Why have we got a train line coming across at grade to come over to Sandhurst over here like that? Senyos, I know this was you. I don't mind it, but it's a case of this train, the second it leaves this platform, it is occupying this junction. It is, which means this train actually, I'm pretty sure, because we'll be able to watch it, this train I think will get held if it's not being held now. So it will get waved through here into the double, where it's being cleared into the double, coming up to 50 mile an hour, 51. It might get cleared. Okay, I stand corrected. This time it got cleared, but hence why I said this time. Also, note how we're literally at this point we're floating in the 8s of millions, not tens or teens of millions. We're in single-digit millions. You know, someone breathes the wrong way and it can snap down to like minus 50, 60, even 100, 200 million. It could spiral very, very, very quickly. We could be easily putting this game into this server, this project into its death throes and not even know it. In the meantime, so yeah, at the moment, and I've explained this to Wolfgang, severe improvements need to be done, and it's not the case. And Wolfgang identified this in his previous in his previous video that I did watch. It's a case of, sadly, when it comes to this at the moment, it's not if at the minute, it's when, and that's actually a scary thing. So I'm diverting that line away, allow it to climb. Because I'm actually quadding this like so. One thing I do know about this section of the line is that unless it is changed, no, Barton, yeah, everything comes from Barton on this, in this direction. We also get electrification in 3 years because we get the first of the 1910. We get the 1910 coaching stock. We also get 1910 electric multiple units, which are based off the 1895 coaches. The 1910 coaches are completely different in their own right, and they're also going to be massively useful because they'll also increase capacities and increase maximum speeds. Doing both, actually, for once, doing 1910 is actually when my intercity stuff starts to become profitable because they can actually start doing above 75. So, as of right now, do I want to delete the station? Don't I want to delete the station? Do I delete it? Don't I? Do I? Don't I? Do I? Don't I? I'm going to do it purely because I kind of actually need to. Same time, smooth, increase that. That's Smoothertron. I need to actually generate a shit ton of land. Preferably slightly above terrain level, sea level. Go. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build a 6-platform station. Yeah, I build a 6-platform station here. Configure, and then I need a street access here. Because this needs to have street access for the sake of the port. No, you're not doing that. Do that. But you can make it look nicer than that. And it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but the two are now reconnected. That actually now works properly and kind of how I semi-intended. So, what needs to connect here? So, Barton Part Elastic Delivery, which now this, do I want to send it under or over? Because at the minute it's trying to take it under. I don't mind it trying to go under, actually. It might actually look better going under. It's also means it'll be flatter, which means it'll allow heavier freight trains to accelerate easier because they're not having to go over something. So yeah, I'll send it under. At the same time, what are you actually currently set at? You're currently set at 80. Well, because you're now actually going to be the slows and not mega slow. So you got a 100-mile-an-hour running line there, paired with a 70-mile-an-hour running line here. same time, you've got an 50-mile-an-hour goods line that actually goes into a tunnel there. That's actually jolly spiffing of it, but at the moment, I actually want to kind of force it to actually bridge rather than tunnel. Now you can come up and do whatever you want. Yeah, so then you guys come along here like so. And then do I want you to dive down into a fairly not very steep tunnel? Yeah, I do actually. And let me guess, I put that on the wrong side, didn't I? Yeah, there you go. That's not too bad. Yeah, because I can do that, and you don't notice because it's over that, so because it's over a long enough distance, so you ain't gonna notice a drift of 4 foot. But yeah, anywho, that does that. Now, back to this, where I want 100 mile an hour. I want to fly over 100 mile an hour running line. To start with. Now, can I get away with using small? No, that's mid arch. Small arch. Bring it up. I'm gonna want to make it slightly long. I think I want to like make the span slightly long. I do kind of want it to go into a little bit of a viaduct. If I use medium arch and bring it up, I mean, bringing it all the way up like that makes it. There we are. That works, but is the lump visible? Yes, the lump is very visible. No, because I want to borrow more from this end, and now that I no longer need to worry about the goods period, I can just get as much needed attitude as I can want. So why did you put 6 platforms in Sandhurst? Well, funny you mention that I've actually been talking to ChatGPT about how to make how to make necessary efficiencies, not only in my build style, but in how to rectify the issues that are going to start affecting us very soon if we don't do anything about them. So, yeah. This was actually one of the things that ChatGPT actually mentioned, was this actually very part of the map. So what I did is I showed them a series of reference images of... I showed them a series of reference images between... yeah. I showed ChatGPT a series of reference images up and down this section of line between Needham Market and Northwich. And Sandhurst Chemical, which is the section that we're at right now, gave me it was actually one of the pointers it suggested was actually have this as the goods terminal for Sandhurst. I'm questioning it to a degree because it's still some distance away from the town. However, there does seem to be a decent enough road transport that we could bring it in by tram. And or another suggestion is having it of a large enough capacity here, we can relocate the goods services coming into here for Needham and Sandhurst in general, relocate them to Sandhurst Plastics, where there's the port connection anyway, and it's a larger port than Sandhurst. I mean, the one thing that I question is this whole thing here, the bridge and everything, renders this ferry obsolete, yet the ferry, yeah, it renders it practically obsolete. So I'm questioning why that's even still here. I know that that's me. I mean, there's me talking when I'm about borderline nickel and diming here, when I'm one of the biggest loss makers I'm the biggest loss maker in this project. But I'm trying to switch gears at the moment and not go from a very sort of narrow sort of, this is my plan, I don't care if it makes money or not, I'm going to do it, to holy fucking shit, I'm going to actually end up breaking everything here if I don't fix this now. So yeah, that is jolly unfortunate. But, well, it's not necessarily unfortunate for myself. It's a case of I'm now coming into a mindset of do or die. Because if we don't, this whole project is going to be dead. I'm too invested in this to watch it go kaput. I don't mind that. It's technically clipping, but I don't, because I'm about to try and put another set of lines on. Might change its construction. So yeah, the type of style that I'm actually going here, I'm actually changing my construction style slightly for the mainline running. I know one thing for certain, Callum's going to love me for it, but my philosophy is somewhat planning to change. So my previous mainline that I've got, which is the one that runs between Needham and North Taunton and Needham, and I consider that my previous mainline because lore-wise and canon-wise of this map, my trains operate on their own dedicated metals. So the company's owned metals, as on this particular main line, they run on dedicated metals to Needham. All the lines running to Needham, so up here through Barton upon Humber, this section heading up to this junction, Haverhill, Victoria, all of that section of line is my metals. That line isn't here. The Newcastle line is my metals, but everything from North Yard or North Junction, so about here, is no longer property of the Midland Counties Railway. We just lease hold. We just obtain, we have running rights over this section of line. So in fact, actually, the philosophy of the quad tracking here changes from what is known as the Great Northern style, where it has the fasts on the inside, to Midland practice. Now I need to do another bridge, but hopefully if I get this right, I only need to have, it just needs to be a short one. Because that is staying flat. I don't want it to tunnel. Happy to actually go into a tunnel there, but I don't want it to tunnel before then. Because I do actually want it to bridge. Because I want to force it into a bridge. like that. Now, tear all this out again. Now that now here at again, that actually can continue down like so. And then that I want to feed on from about there. So it allows for 75-mile-an-hour running that sweeps down slowly and then merges on. I've never liked this section of I mean, Wolfgang did ask, how was I going to do this? How's this for an example? I introduced it to oxyacetylene. Just waiting on, I'm going to do this in 2 parts as well. Part 1 is going to be the Sandhurst section. And they're going to be the same turn. I'm going to separate into 2 parts. Part 1 Sandhurst, because the amount of re-engineering I need to do here is honestly ridiculous. So yeah, you come down to Sandhurst Port instead of coming to Sandhurst. Yeah, so you come down here instead. Manage vehicles. I'm also going to double the amount of shipping on there. Because where do you guys actually go? Yeah, you guys, yeah, so now you guys can operate to there instead. That now means you can get rid of the entire port facility here. That actually gives me space to work. Same time, right, so now that's got 1. And this brings down here to here. That's got the passenger lines in. Right, so this is actually technically going 6 wide at this point, where in reality, now I can bring it down to 4. Bringing it down to 4 like that means that now I can enable can have isolate goods services to Sandhurst. I'm gonna, yeah, isolate them to Sandhurst Port. As I've done here. Right, so that is Sandhurst Port done. With Sandhurst Port, that now leads on to this section, this double track. This double track actually needs to do 2 things. Well, arguably 3. What I'm going to do is actually going to bring the high-speed services down to also 75. So everything runs at 75 through this junction. I now need to enable that to have a level grade turnout, so it actually wants to, and it's also pointing in the right direction, which it is. Slowing trains down to 75 mile an hour here is actually kind of important for maintaining the traffic flow. It just enables for just generally having everything a little bit more controlled. At the same time, that also means I can have a crossover there, because the slows need to get over to the fast, which means the locals can get over to here to go up the branch line. At the same time, also, don't I also need some form of through access here for the goods trains? I do, don't I? Yes. Are you lumping? Yes, you are. Okay, time to fix a lump. And then that can come up at whatever angle to do that. Everything connects. Yes, it does. Great. That now enables 4 platforms. Two of them are throughs for goods traffic. The reason is I'm moving all of the Sandhurst freight trains. Where's the freight? Is that the freight one? No, that's the freight one. So rather than going to Sandhurst, you guys are like that. That will also, like I said, I'll be putting signals in there shortly. Now, back down to Sandhurst real quick. Time to start building Sandhurst Station. And once I've completed Sandhurst Station, that is where I'm going to leave things for today ahead of part, because this will be the end of part 1. Sandhurst Station, I do have a station design in mind. I do need large. I want medium. It's going to be, because it's a large town station, not a mega station. It's a large town station, not an interchange station. I'm going to actually, but no, I'm going to have, yeah. I'm actually going to put the station off, building offs over here. Reason behind it is so when I go to configure it, I can delete the passenger building, go back here with the medium passenger building, and put it offset. Why am I putting it offset? Well, you see, remember the thing that we had earlier with the bay platform being on the wrong, arguably on the wrong side? What was that about it being on the wrong side? Waiting on autosave. Just don't you love autosave? The reason behind it is when I was speaking, again, this is another suggestion by ChatGPT. Separate the passenger from the goods. Separate the passenger station and the goods station. Put the goods station down at the chemical factory, and have a passenger only station located where the original one was, and base it off Bedford Station. So that's what I'm doing. At the same time, configure MISC. Yeah, actually, I do want them 4 elements long for the bays. Yeah, there's method to thy madness here. Right then. So now a run again, 120-mile-an-hour rail line goes to there, and that runs then up to there. We have a slight separation because of the platform, but it's only of a deviation of about 4 foot. And that runs down to there, and that runs across to there. So that brings across all of those. Technically now the fasts are in the middle. That is acceptable at the moment. In the meantime, I do need to remember these do need to come out straight for a moment. Then they can curve to meet. No, they'll curve to meet later. The entire time you can actually be curving. Yeah, you can be in the curve. And with that, that's going to wrap up part 1 of rebuilding the Sandhurst Northwich section. Please likes, shares, comments, subscribes, all of that good stuff. Helps me out, helps out the channel, helps, and shows that Transport Fever is something that you do want to see continued on YouTube, not only on Twitch. Please, like I said, I am planning to be streaming tomorrow, actually. On, well, you guys, it's already tomorrow for me. So, I do plan to be streaming. When you see this, I plan to stream in the near future. I have got a semi-regular streaming schedule on. Check my Twitch out. I'll link it below. In fact, who knows, may have some fancy vector graphics at some point in the near future that show, you know, my Twitch and everything. Yeah. So this is part 1. Noted when I say part 1. There is more to come. There'll always be more to come. We ain't even started properly yet on this. We are fixing this map. And skit and, like, you know, granted, I've not ran this map very well yet at all. We've still got broken. Why have we got broken stuff still? Because you are trying to go to Sandhurst Plastics. I set you to there. That fixed you. You're trying to go to Sandhurst Plastics. You get to that station. Get to that platform. Yes, you can. You'll do that then instead. Sandhurst Commuter is the tram that I disconnected. which can be reconnected in the next video. But firstly, there is actually also a station that I've disconnected, a tram stop that. So, electric tram. And I'll replace those. Replace the commuter tram here with a larger one. And is it that one as well? Yeah. Upgrade these trams. But like I said, as I do that, I will, you know, likes, comments, shares, you know, all of that stuff helps out the channel, everything. If you like what you see, please do it, help out. And yeah, I do thank you guys for giving, you know, me a place. And what do you mean no path? Ah, bollocks. Yeah, I might actually, you know, in a significant emotional event. Right, okay. Ones that are complaining. Get knotted. Needle tools. Manage vehicles. And with these, I'm actually going to showcase the next vehicles that we've got, which are the Ogles, which are like an 060, but only faster. Actually means that I can now replace my singles that I've got on fast light goods, because that shit has been obsolete for nearly 15 years. So, with that all done and everything, and I've not even got signals even put up yet, I'm going to leave this video here. Like I said, thank you for, like I said, this is only part 1. There is a lot more stuff that I need to do, and it's and it is the case for this do or die. So I'll edit this. I'll see you guys about. Enjoy yourselves and have a great day wherever you are. Oh man, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning right now. What am I doing?